This tape consists of regular 8 and Super 8 movies taken over a period of almost 20 years and transferred to videotape. There's some loss of quality both because of the age of the films and in the transfer process. The last part consists of video pictures of fires taken in the last 2 years. There is also some loss of quality because of the transfer to secondary tape. This was a fire on the edge of Santa Rosa, actually in Department of Forestry district, but Santa Rosa gave mutual aid and did most of the firefighting. The fire occurred inside the building, the house, but there was an extensive amount of involvement of the attic and the roof. The men working inside the house were not actually aware of the amount of fire involving the roof and the attic. There's no hydrants available in this area, so that the water supply came solely from tankers. Forestry supplied one tanker, and later Santa Rosa was able to add an additional tanker. The man on the ladder is an off-duty Santa Rosa fireman working on the roof with a booster line from a Santa Rosa engine. It's very obvious that the amount of water that he has available isn't doing anything at all to even begin to control the roof fire. A short time later, after the tanker arrived, an 1.5-inch line was used on the roof, but that also, for practical purposes, was ineffectual in controlling the fire. There was an 1.5-inch line working inside the house during this time. There's our Santa Rosa man again taking the 1.5-inch line to the roof, but even with the additional amount of water, it does literally nothing to control the fire when applied from the outside in this way. They tried to do a little better by using a line at the back of the house. About this time, they became aware of the degree of outside involvement. The men inside became aware, and they pulled the ceilings and were able to attack the fire from the inside. And it's interesting to see how quickly it controls it when attacked in this manner. At this point, it's still burning very freely, but in just a moment, a line sweeps from the inside and the fire is literally knocked down immediately. Certainly demonstrates the effectiveness of working from the interior on this type of a fire. Santa Rosa engine, a Van Pelt, I'm not sure what year, taking water from the tanker in use at that time, which was a 1953 GMC with a 120-gallon pump and 1,200 gallon capacity. Two white engines, tanker and engine, are Sonoma County rigs. This fire came in as an unknown fire by the county hospital. It was a school for retarded children, constructed of Quonset hut type buildings, and was obviously fully involved. The men used a 2.5-inch line from the front with a fog pattern. They had another 2.5-inch line playing down on the fire from a hillside next to the building. But with this amount of fire, why, they obviously couldn't control it, and the building was a total loss. That big line isn't making a dent. I heard this fire in my monitor in my car on the way home, so I had an early arrival about the same time as the engine. Santa Rosa Old Engine 1, 1951 Van Pelt, pulling an 1.5-inch live line. Took one line around inside, and the second line used to attack the fire from outside. Might not be too good if somebody were in there, but there wasn't. '51 Van Pelt is on a Kenworth chassis. Has a 400 gallon tank. This was an apartment. Actually, the fire was upstairs and outside on a back porch, almost entirely outside, spreading to an exposure. Called an immediate second alarm, which at that time in Santa Rosa meant 4 engines and a truck, total of 13 men. With a single 2.5-inch line and an 1.5-inch line, they controlled the fire very rapidly since it was outside. In fact, so rapidly that I hardly had time to get any good pictures. Of course, at that time, we didn't use 4-inch feeder lines so that the engine was hooked directly to the hydrant. That's engine 1. The others would be